Hi guys. So it seems there is no one here yet today. Um, I think I'm going to reconsider the time I stream at. Usually, what I've noticed in last four streams is viewers. I mean, you guys come in about 1 hour from now, which is 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Uh, let's see. Once few people are in, I'll ask what you guys think, because it's really strange starting by myself, and I don't want you guys to lose out on some of the stuff that I say or even repeat myself, uh, uh, which should save us time, uh, save you guys time as well, going back and rewatching a part of the stream, or you know even saving me time just to show things again, since my channel is very small right now and very few viewers are there. So yeah, one more thing that I'm planning today is, I was thinking about setting up some sort of a poll kind of a thing, because uh, um, um, what I want to know is, if people are interested, should I model this part, make this exact same composition, or move on to the next topics. One of which is creating a previs in Maya. The project I have is like pretty huge, so previs would be the first step to do such a thing. Um just one sec. Yeah. So first step would be previs, then start going into layout, blocking, lighting, shading, look development. So this is about a car crash on a racetrack or something like that. Another thing which I had in mind was the cartoon creation pipeline thing that I showed last week, which should be, let's see, downloads. Just one sec. Downloads. It should be here. Date modified. Hmm, apparently, I think it's not here. Hmm. So yeah, second thing is like a cartoon character creation from start to finish. So I'll go through modeling, concepting, a bit of Marvelous Designer, a bit of ZBrush. That will be purely in Maya. And I think Maya, the car crash will be a mix of Maya, Max, and everything is as well. And then the last one is like a rocket or a spaceship launch. So these were the three topics I was thinking about. So let's see. And da, 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 da. Let me just quickly go and see if I have references. Mood board. Yeah, I do. So I'm just opening up a mood board, and while on the topic, uh, was it in this? Let's see. I'll just mute this so I don't get tagged. Is it this? Nope, it's not this. Maybe. Is it Forza or something else? That's a question I have in my head. Let's see. I had edited it here, so I might have it. So the character that I was talking about is, I'm going along the lines of Mickey Mouse kind of a thing, uh, and a basketball player. So I'm making this either ways right now as a practice run, and so yeah, I can show something like this, or let's get this on the track day spot. So I had an idea about creating a track day spot. Da, 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 da. Yes, can I play this? Headphones default output. Okay. Out outputs clock. Oh, okay. And uh, actually edit preferences audio hardware. Let me unmute this. Default output should be this. Out tech output. Okay. Default input. There is no input on that. Oh, it's over here. So I created this edit. Let's see if I get the voice. Actually, yeah, let's keep on playing this. So obviously these are YouTube clips of what I wanted, and I've been pitching this inside at my studio as well, like as a folio project. So a car forms and everything, and that's my like sort of camera angles and everything. Check this out. This is really cool. I love that camera angle. So there's the camera and how things will follow. But anyways, the important thing is the previs. I can't make this whole thing like I want. That is teamwork and months of work. But what I want to make, what I can make is something like this. So see, this car crash will happen here, like this thing, and the idea would be let's see. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the clip. Okay, so imagine there is a street like this, and just like Monaco Grand Prix, my camera is somewhere around here, and camera is actually pulling out, and a car comes like drifts towards the camera and maybe crashes or something like that. So something like that, right? Let me zoom in. Like that, right? And you get this kind of a crash in there, like with all the dynamics and all. But all I can do is start with the previs, to be honest. And once the previs is done, probably get into start look dev of things, blocking things out, like a whole pipeline kind of thing. To be honest, the whole in and outs of it, I was planning as a tutorial at a later stage. But maybe what I can do is, if I'm making it, I can stream it and make it in a way that the stream is only available while you watch it live, to see where I get stuck, and then that particular stream is never available to anyone. Then let's see. Okay, so I think we don't have anybody yet, and we are 20 minutes into the stream. I might as well start the work. Sorry guys, it's a bit sad to stream by myself, but let's do this. So this is where we left off last week, and I'm still on the system with V-Ray Next. So I think if I see the calendar, I think I have coming week, and then hopefully the ban will go away on 14th of April, I think, if I'm not correct, in India. Uh, so maybe I can utilize this time to finish this particular thing during this week and have some more streams. What I realized, to become a partner, I think I need to stream twice as much as I do, so twice a week at least, I think, and more viewers. So I might as well do that. Viewers is a problem, uh, and I think creating something more mid-level or senior level stuff might help, because I don't think I'm getting many junior guys on the stream either ways. So yeah. So I'm changing my render settings. VRay next update. Settings. I think. Let's see. Okay. What's this? System setup here. See, the thing is, I usually get confused with VRay render settings because, like I'd shown in my previous streams, at home I've VRay 3 point something, and here I've got VRay next, and they have moved things around in here. So let's just quickly. It should be in. Let's see, IPR. Okay, if I do active shade, and in active shade I want go to common, assign renderer, and instead of scanline renderer, oh, okay. So in VRay 3 point something you used to get here for VRay RT. So instead of active shade, I'll just go to iterative rendering. Oh, what's this? Okay. I'm just going to put this to VRay GPU for now, and production is what? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, it's VRay GPU next. VRay. I have 5000 this is the defaults. I haven't touched anything, to be honest. Light cache, you can play with these settings, but for purposes right now, it's not really required. So let's just zoom out and look at this, how fast this is. It's done. Crazy shit. Okay. And get my reference up here in the video. Put it on there. Okay. Now I'm going to start modeling this part of the model, and okay, so I'll keep that, and here's my video capture device. Okay. Okay. Sorry guys. Okay. Why is it not showing up? That's interesting. Configure video. So, okay. No, won't do it. So I'll just make this bigger. Yeah. So Okay, you can't see a lot, but obviously, see that part that is shiny, and the rest surface is matte. See how you get sharp highlights? Yeah, down there exactly. Yeah. So if I go to Photoshop and make myself smaller again, there, there we go. Okay, and if I zoom into my photos, um, still the texture is not so visible in this because I've taken it at a distance. So I'm just gonna quickly analyze like what kind of a pattern it has. It seems to have a bit of noise and very small fine grain on the thing. So first thing is we are going to make this caps shader, right? This break this down, get material editor. Um, so I really don't need this right now, but I'm gonna just make it small and keep it for reference. Okay. Still no one. And minimize this guy. Come here. I'm gonna reset my render setup and select my bottles cap. So camp it should be CAP cap shader. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. Okay, and 2. Okay, why is it so black? Diffuse. Okay, too much specular. Okay, anyways, so first things first, I'm going to clear this out and make it non-reflective. As a matter of fact, let me just reset the shaders. So V-Ray material, and if you click on V-Ray and V-Ray material, it will give me the default shader, right? Now I need to go dark, and it's almost black, so roughly 3 is what gives you close enough darks. I mean, 1 is really dark. 0, you never want to put things to 0, so you need to put some color there. Yeah. So I might put 2, and things will get brighter. So I think for now I'll leave it at 1, and I'll take another shader on bottom corner. Like usually I like to go shaders, and anything I connect to light from bottom right corner. It just helps me with organization. Lights or anything temp, I start from this side. So bring this down here, and now everything. The best way to achieve realism is, oh, I've got 4 viewers. Wow. Hello guys. I can't see your names in chat, but welcome to the stream. I'm just talking about 3ds Max lighting and shading side of things. This is the 5th live stream. I can't see your names. I don't know why, but you're more than welcome to come and join in chat. Yeah. So okay, so about shaders, you can procedurally create a lot of shaders based on noise, right? And there are 2 ways to do this to make things faster. I mean, I'm actually on VReality. It's quite fast. So if I click this, so there is something called work on noise. Actually, let me put it on. Let's have an override material, so it's very easy and fast to see. And for the override material, I'll drag and drop this guy here and say instance. Yeah, and everything turns white. Don't worry. So now going to this guy, I'm just going to rename this to test material, and this remains at material 17. So okay, let's see. Red. Okay, yeah, that thing is not working, so I'll copy this and say paste instance, and now it works, right? Green, yeah, it's working. So click on that, and I'll say work on noise, and we don't see anything, so I'm gonna open this up, and let's try to say size of 1. Nope, nothing yet. Let's say world XYZ, and it doesn't work, so I'll press stop and I'll try again, because okay, so I think VReNext RT is not liking work on noise, so we'll just quickly switch our thing to VReNext update, which is your CPU renderer, and come here, under global switches, override material, and right click and say paste instance, so test material, and this material is called test material, right? If I right click, say VFB, and hit play, and I'm still getting pure white. Let's see what's up here. 10, 100, 500, 5000, 0.1, 0.01. Okay, this is interesting. So if I hit render, so today work on noise doesn't want to work for some reason. Let's see. If I take my light and disable it, and options, make sure it's invisible as well, and let's try again. Explorer, let's see, plexiglass, hide that. I'll rename this to back wall. If I bring you here, yeah, it has work on noise in there, so why isn't it coming? 1 diffuse filter, won't. Mapping screen. Nope. Okay, size that one. 0.01. So work on maps is, for some strange reason, not working. Let's try and clear this, and textures are on as well. Let's just try standard noise, and that is also not coming. Map is on, copy, relay, is any excluding group, turn off override material and refresh. Stop. Turn this layer on. Stop and see. Redo it. This is so funny. For some reason, this noise maps don't want to show up. How about I try this? Change this to bucket and turn off force progressive and start again. Nope. Hi, just the account was entire thing because I'm preparing my own stream into us. Hey Hugo, hi there. Not a problem, man. Funny, it didn't show you as a user in chat, but yeah, I'll be joining your stream, man. I'm the only one here today, so thank you for coming by and saying hello. Oh yeah, one more thing, Hugo. If you're still there, are you there? Anyways, there's something called squads. It can be an interesting thing on Twitch. Check that out. Like, you can add up to 4 members who are apprentice or something like that, partners or something, and then you can have their thing, something like Zoom meetings. So you can have small videos, like little videos like the one I have on my left corner, and you can stream on one thing, and you can have all those 4 users streaming the same stream. And if whoever started it leaves, then the next guy in the list becomes the main host. It's kind of cool. I just saw it yesterday. Anyways, back to topic. Yeah, for some strange reason, the noise procedural stuff is not working while I'm streaming, because I have done shading with this kind of a thing, and so as you can see, I have a noise map applied. As a matter of fact, if I stop this render and just let's go to turn this override thing off, right? And just copy this guy and paste instance, and let's see now what I get. See, this noise map is not ready to come here. I don't know why. When I do it offline, it has worked, but while streaming, it just doesn't work. I don't know why. I mean, obj xyz, I can increase or decrease the size. There is no joy. See, 100, nope, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1000, no, nothing. It's just not giving the texture maps. Yeah, ambient light on backside. Yep. Nope. Multiply color by opacity, nothing. Let's try and put it as red and green. Oh, red color it took. And green is, it's also taking green. So how about 0.001? 0.1. Maybe. Am I going blind? 5. 1. Nope. It hardly shows this thing. Actually, let me check something over here quickly. Yeah, these all are not on. How about world XYZ? Enable color map. Let's increase the contrast. Oh yeah, so it's working, but okay. So let's do this. See noise. Work on noise, which will be here. Now, work on noise is not built into 3ds Max, yeah. And to get it, if you Google for work on noise, you need to go here, work on maps, right? And you can download it from here. Once it's downloaded, it goes into your C drive, program files, Autodesk, 3ds Max, and in your plugins. Okay, and you just paste the work on maps thing here, the DLT file, and next time you restart Max, you'll have work on maps there. And trust me, this thing is really powerful. So I'll just discard this old one. Oh, hi Nikhil, how are you? Thank you for joining the stream. So funny, when I see users in chat, it shows me Commander, Root, Yugos, Dex, and Lurks, and in stream chat it shows you watching now. I need to figure this one out. Like, there's discrepancy between the amount of viewers and all that. But I'm continuing on shading. Once I have a few more viewers, there is 2 things I'm planning. Like start doing my stream at 7 p.m. instead of 6, because usually I've seen people coming in at 6:30 and 7ish. 7 p.m. is roughly when I get peak viewers. So maybe I should offset the time by 1 hour. I don't know. And I wanted to create a poll. So I'm planning to do next week, since the lockdown is there. I'm planning to finish this off by streaming a bit more next week and finish this project so we can go to the next one. For the next one, I have few things in mind. One is a car crash. So from previs to lighting, rendering, rig, FX, everything. So we'll jump between software like Max, Maya, and whatever the other requirements are. Second thing was character creation, and third would be a rocket launch. So let's see, once there are enough viewers in there and I start getting enough questions in the chat, I think I will go up and put that poll down and show exactly what I'm planning. And if you have any suggestions that I would like to see this, or if you are stuck with anything CGI, VFX, or even with games like Unity engine or Unreal engine or something like that, ask me. I'll try and reply to the best of my knowledge and my experience. If I don't, then at least I can point you guys in the right direction, that okay, follow these guys, they are more knowledgeable about it than me. Sounds good? I hope so. So I'm requiring to contrast this baby up a lot, and I think that maybe due to V-Ray camera. So I'm gonna click here and hit perspective, right? So it doesn't now you see this color changed because V-Ray camera is physically based, and what I'm doing right now, it's non-physical. I'm trying to find a good scale of my noise. So let's see, if I decrease this, am I getting any updates? One, yeah, see, now Beacon Maps is one of the best, trust me, noise things that I've seen around. Maya recently implemented something similar to these guys, I think version 2018 onwards, but this wasn't there, and hence I was sticking to Beacon Maps. Now, one more thing to keep in mind, Beacon Maps are very, very heavy. Yeah. So either once you are happy with your patterns, you want to bake it down into a texture. The only minus size is then you'll be locked to the resolution of the texture size and your UV coverage. If it's for print or something like that, stick to this as long as you can, and then bake it down. Another thing is something called triplanar mapping that actually originated from games side of a thing, but it's like a box mapping kind of a thing, and you can apply textures, tile level textures, and it creates noise. Now, why are we creating noise? Noise we are creating because basic procedural materials, especially like this, the black top thing, a lot of things like this you can easily create enough variation and good things by creating procedural noise, right? So let me do one thing now. Okay, so if you see this is really boring grayish thing we have, right? I mean, it can be darker. So if I just to quickly show as an example, if I just pump not that, if I increase my contrast a little bit maybe, and in curves, if I take this and make my blacks darker like that, yes, it has got some green, but this is boring, right? It looks very flat and it's shit, to be honest. So to make something photoreal, and this is the funny part, photographers try to make their subjects as clean as possible, and we need to try as much dirt as possible, but the key here is subtlety. You have to be really subtle about adding the kind of dirt you are adding in. Yeah, so let's just go and do that. So for this I opened Photoshop earlier, but because this is a photo taken from distance, you can't really see the details, but it has a very fine grain on that, and yes, there is some dirt and scratches, and that's what we are building. Yeah, so I'll just hit play and get this size down. So this all is closed. Yep, I'll close that. I'll close my history and for my size. Okay, first you want really big size. Now when you click here, just a quick premiere on Beacon noise. So you have Perlin 2D, and in mapping you can select object or world. I'll select world because I want this size to be global for everything. Yeah, if I do object, it depends on the object size, and it takes that into consideration. So if I've scaled up something or scaled down something, it will take that the object's local size, and if there is different scales on different objects, which we don't, you might have different scales in noise map for different things, but this I find pretty interesting and good. So there's Perlin 2D. Let me put it to 0.1, and obviously because it's a 2D algorithm, this is what we get, right? Then we have Perlin 3D, and suddenly we got normal noise, right? And I made this really small right now, but I can make it bigger or something. There is Perlin 4D. So these are various noise types. right? There's simplex, simplex 3D, and as you can see they have a slightly different pattern. And here's the interesting part. So let's say if I say Perlin 3D, which is like sort of a normal fractal kind of a thing, right? I can go in and say this is noise function and then noise fractal. Now if I start changing things here, suddenly see the amount of detail that came, right? So this is none, right? That's just a function, and this is like you can think of it as a second layer of noise on top. So there's fractal, turbulence, FBM. I really like FBM personally. FBM turbulence, which is sort of invert of it and with sharper lines. Then heterotrain, hybrid, rigid, and you can mix and match, right? So FBM and Perlin 3D, you can start increasing the levels. So right now it's at 3. See if I go to 4, you'll start seeing more and more details. So see 1, right? And let me just take this small area. Then 2, more details come through. 3. So what it essentially does is it takes the fractal, it makes it smaller and makes it opacity by half and keeps on doing that. So 5, 6, the more I add, it will start keep on doing that and keep on going down. But after 6 or 8 levels, you can't even see the difference. I usually stay around 5 or 6, right? Second thing, obviously this is not gonna work for me right now. So I'm going to increase the scale to 0.5, nope, maybe 1 even, 2, let's see. Okay, so this may work, maybe 3, let's see. 3 is maybe too big. I'm not liking this black spot. So lows, if I increase the lows, you can see it's the lower clipping plane that comes up, right? And highs, if I go up, it's taking the high values beyond 1, and if I bring it down, I'll get more whites. Okay, so I want to get rid of this pure black, which I never liked, and I don't like pure whites either, so I'll just bring this down a bit. And just while we are on this subject, I'll quickly show. Usually your noise will be like first you do this, right? Keep a bit contrasty to see where things are, right? To fix your scale and everything, so it's easier to see. So like you can tell like what the noise pattern is looking like. But in the end, what ends up happening is if you're on the darker end, or let's say if you're on the brighter end, you'll be going in details like this. I hope this is visible on the stream. Let's see. Let me see my other monitor. Yeah. See this very subtle differences. So you really make it really light differences. That's what I was talking about, subtlety. Or if you're on the darker end of the glossiness or whatever you are adding noise to. So let's go on the darker end, and then again you'll have very less range of contrast. But what you do is you build this over, and you keep on building it, and then you get really cool uneven surface which looks even, and it just feels more real. Yeah. So okay, let's fix the scale now. So my first scale, I want it to be about 3. I'm gonna make this less contrasty somewhere. This one I'm going planning this thing as a midtones thing, right? I need more whites in here for sure, and get this guy a bit around there. Sounds good. Now if I click on work on noise and write composite here, we'll be right back. Alright Nikhit, see you in a bit, man. So composite, this time I want to keep the old map, so I'll say yes. Okay, so just like Photoshop, if I add another layer, so it goes down to up, right? So this is my base layer. Can I rename this? Not really, no. So I'll just drag and drop this same work on from here to here, and instead of instance I'll say copy, right? And now I want size to be, I don't know, 2 sorry 1.5. So I'm dividing it in half, right? And just to see things more clearly, I'm just going to do my contrast up. So it was at 3, which was this size. Now I'm going at 1.5, which is much smaller noise. I can probably play with this a bit. I still want less contrast, right? And I'll get into this distortion side of things soon. What you can do is, actually let me show you now only. So if you turn on distortion and increase the strength, and if I say in strength, if I add a map, so let's say checker and tiling 5 by 5, let's see. Was it here? Oh yeah. So checker might be a good option. Let's see. Do we have something which is really visible? Let's take smoke and tiling 3 by 3 by 3, right? Look at this, what happened here, right? This is how my map looked, and I turn on distortion. It's using this map to drive this map. So if I go here and open this smoke map, this is how it looks like, right? And I can play with the colors and see how this nice organic lines are forming over there. So it's taking this thing as an input. So maybe if I say 0.5, so I've got a bit of directionality now, going 0.5 and 0.5 or 0, I put 0 here, 0.1, right? So and let's make this contrasty as well. So okay, and maybe I'll put this at 5, 2. Okay, now if you see here, if I change my strength, see how it's starting to distort things using this map, and it's really crazy good, you know, once you start building on things to give noise variations so it doesn't look like a repetitive noise map. So this is one of the key things that we have to do while building up maps. But as of now, to keep things simple, let's take that. There's even one more interesting one. There is this Worley, yeah, and if I go to 0.5, you'll see it's like this kind of a leather shader kind of leather kind of a thing with darker dots in center in it, and it goes out. And if you start playing with different maps, it gives some interesting results. Like this looks like bacteria or something, but yeah, there are like you need to mix and match this noise type and fractal type to create different patterns. So actually, you know what, let's stick with this. So I'm going to say your size to be 0.15, 0.5, 0.3, 0.3 looks okay. How about FBM turbulence? Yep, sounds good. I'm going to push my lax down, reduce the contrast between these two guys, and maybe increase my blacks. Nope. Let's see. Come up here, right? Start coming next to that white. okay, looks okay, and okay, it's not pure white, so that's good. Now just like Photoshop, I can use blending modes. So if I close this, and this is whiter, right? So let's see, and you want to be precise according to math down here if possible. So compositing maths is usually plus, uh, like in the passes in linear workflow you just add everything, but or you can multiply things, and division and subtraction are used in um, higher end stuff where you're using raw passes and doing some crazy maths. But usually the most common contenders are to add something. So if you have something white, uh, let me just show it, right? So if I say addition, and let me make this more contrasty, just to make it absolutely clear. So normal, and let's go to this black, this at pure white, put this at 0.8. So we have clear contrast, right? And just for demonstration, I'll bring this guy here, click here and say V-Ray color. V-Ray color. So V-Ray color is a node in which you can give a static solid color, right? So I have a pure black thing over here, right? And let me bring this down. Okay, I'll swap these two. So if I drag and drop, I can swap, right? So my base is what's happening? What is this? Texture map 7. This is very color. Name it black. Right, and go up here. So my V-Ray color, my texture black is on, and this guy is off, right? If I turn this on and say addition, it seems it didn't do a lot, but see if I do multiply, it totally goes away. So let's change this V-Ray color to white, and actually I need to put more contrast on this guy. So output, enable color map. Let's see, I really want to make this obvious. So okay, move this here. Okay, done. So if I go up, right, and if I do addition to and put my this map to black, then this is visible, right? Let me put to something like blue. Okay, so when I do addition, only the white parts of the map, how do I do this best? Okay, I'm going to take this as a helper and put it up here. So keep an eye on this guy. Okay, so if I do this to normal, see this white part, same thing here, it remains visible. And if I so that is addition, right? All the white parts which were there in the image remain, the black parts go. If I do multiply, then it's the opposite effect. So all the black parts which were there, they are visible, and the white parts that you are seeing, that is the actual blue color, right? So if I change this blue to red, see what I mean? So multiply is multiplying this black color on top of this red color, hence the darker shade, and the whites are not coming through. Now, screen mode, what it will do is, and do we have screen? Yeah. It kind of clamps your color range into 0 to 1, and it takes the brightest pixels of the two textures that you have, and whichever one is the brightest, it will clamp to its value and get rest of them just it lets go of the range, rest of the range. So basically screen is sort of like add but just clamped. Imagine you don't get the full dynamic range. So if for whatever reason things are getting too bright and you want to clamp it out, then screen might be a better option in certain cases. Otherwise add and multiply are best. Then there are these other ones, right? So let's say if I had a 50% gray here, and this shit has saved my life so many times, I cannot I'm not even joking, right? So usually I get a black and white map like this, right? I'll add my noises on top. So let me swap these two as well. Swap and close this. I'll say multiply to this. Okay. The cool thing is, if I go here and say V-Ray color again, V-Ray color, okay, and let's say I wanted something, I don't know, let's say something pinkish. Yeah, why not? It's a nail polish. So if I just click here and say color, voila, it takes it just uses this guy's hue and adds it as a color for the black and white image. So you can see how you can create various textures, right? So let's get rid of that. I've been streaming for 1 hour now. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and I'll see you guys in there. So if I do a countdown timer here, countdown and countdown. Okay, there's a movie called Countdown. 5 minutes, start, and okay, guys, I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Hello, testing sound. Yeah, got it. So, anyways, let's start um, sorting these guys out, right? So, if I close this screen and I'll put this to normal and I'll delete this layer. So, this is my first layer, this is my second. I'm gonna go and uh, remove these guys and let's see. For scale, uh, this is that, this is much smaller, so I need bigger scale. So 1 0.5 1. Okay, I'll put it at 1, and this guy is dark, so I'm gonna put this on add. Okay, in this case screen, right, and I'll put it at 50%. So see, I'm slowly building up. Add another layer, copy the same guy, copy. Okay, for this I will probably go to let's see, let's change these guys up. So simplex, fractal, FVM is looking interesting. Yeah, FVM is looking good. So just bring those blacks up a bit, right? And for size, I might want to go to 0.5 and start reducing the variation and make this a bit dark. Go up and probably multiply this guy in. Let's see. Okay, now I want this white areas to start getting details, and okay, this so yeah, this guy I'll put it at 50% as well. So slowly building up, and let's add one more for really fine details. Just copy this guy up again. So I'm going from big, small, small, small. I'm going smaller in scale, right? And make this a bit contrasty so I can see what's happening. Simplex 3D. Now what I want is really those fine details. So I'll go to Voronoi and make this dark so I can see FVM turbulence. That's giving me the stuff I want. Clamp down my whites, right, and I want much smaller scale, so 0.25, 0.1, and I might change this to FVM. Yep, and get this pure blacks up, and I want my size to be 0.05, so maybe 0.02, yeah. And I'll increase the whites a bit so it gives me this dots kind of a thing, and bring this guy up. So if I just take this area, see how I'm getting these dots, and these values are really sensitive, the size values, especially when your mapping is to world. So I think this kind of works, so let's see. And it's giving me this nice dots pattern. Right now I want to make it a bit dark, so I've just come down here in output, added a point there, and pull this down, right, and right click and say Bezier smooth, and just smooth out the curve a little bit, bring it even more down, somewhere around here. Maybe add another point here to build some contrast up and get my whites, maybe not that much, maybe around here. Bezier smooth, and yeah, and press OK here. Maybe I can increase a bit of blacks like that, press OK, and I will multiply this on top because I want those black dots to come through. Yeah, and I will put the intensity to 50%, and now see, this is too splotchy, so I need to go and find where this splotchiness is happening, right, and just bring down. This is almost white, so it should be the layer below it, which should be okay, this guy. Let's see if I increase the whites here. Roughly around there. Yeah, okay, and I want this dots even more, and maybe go this to this. This was on screen, right? Yeah, and this guy is multiply, so for screen, if I decrease my whites around there, and with this multiply, maybe get a bit of blacks. Let's see. So keep them really subtle, and I might want to change the size, so instead of 0.5 I say 1 or 0.25. Yeah, I think 0.25 is looking better, and make it again really subtle differences. So just to showcase what's happening here, right, if I add another V-Ray color on top, so mostly what people do is they just add a shader and add any of the colors, right, for example green, okay, and let's not keep it, and if I, so see how flat this color is, I mean there is absolutely no details, and the idea is you want to break your highlights and shadows and everything. So if I, as soon as I put it to color, look at this, suddenly it has got nice textural details, and looking at this I might want to decrease my dots to like maybe 0.35 because they are a bit too visible, and maybe 0.4, let's see, 0.5, is this the dots one? Let's double check. Yeah, that's the dots. So map 34, which is this, oh sorry, 35, okay, so and as you can see, this has got nice textural detail now. I might even decrease this to 25, and this to maybe 40, I think this kind of works. So I'm gonna get rid of this guy, right, and go to this guy, clear this map, and just do that. So this is my test material shader. I was just doing it on lighting. So I'll copy this composite map to store it and paste this as an instance in my test material. Now down here I'll go back to V-Ray material, and I've got my flat color, and I'll make this to around 3. Now this is really black surface as per our reference, which is over here, right? And I'll just move this a bit on the side. Okay, not one of yours. I'll increase my reflect so I get my lighting back, and I'll turn off Fresnel reflections, turn that off so this things gets activated. And to activate my GGX, which is this, I need to put at least 0.99 here, then this works. And if I open this and turn on this guy, see this highlight, how sharp this is. If I put my GGX to 1.1, see, I've got a bigger bloom happening. Now this is a matte surface. GGX is usually good with metals more than anything else, and for plastics ideally you want to use Phong, but I don't want to lose that GGX functionality, so I'm gonna stick with GGX, and I'll put this at around 1.25 because it's a very matte surface. And for glossiness I'll click on this, I'll go back to my this light material, I'll copy this, and in my glossiness I'll paste this as an instance, and instantly I get like, as you can see, this is pure reflections and how this is reflecting. Obviously it's looking a bit dirty right now, but that is something we can control. And second thing, right now because the Fresnel reflections is off, it's really reflective like a chrome material, and the blurriness is coming because there is absolutely what do you call the textures that we built, right? It has values in there. So if I turn this off, so give it a second to compute, and this is what it looks like, which is okay, I can't sample the colors here, but if I probably go to my specular, no, it won't come through here, but okay, I'll quickly close this, and I'll add a fall off map on this. So basically I'm manually making my Fresnel, so how and where things are reflective, and in my mix curve which goes from 0 to 1, so 0 is facing angle because I'm on perpendicular, parallel and viewing direction, so what faces me is not reflective at all, and as it goes to the corner it becomes fully reflective, if you see here, right? And just to prove that, and turn on my light which I turned off, this is my V-Ray dome light. I should probably name my lights as well. Dome light, right? And select my dome light, and in my modifiers, if I turn on visible, I'll make it visible, and I'll also turn on my back wall now, right? So if I go to my materials in maps, and if I turn off this composite, see how sharp line it became, right? And if I turn on my glossiness, suddenly it's really nice and smooth highlight which is happening, and it's breaking my highlights. Now to quickly see how reflective this is, uh, Temporarily for my dome light I'm gonna really pump it up, so it's affecting everything, yes, and it's at 0.01. I'll just put it at 1, sorry, 1, what, 1, okay. And I'll turn off my glossiness so I can see reflections, really sharp reflections of the environment around. And does my dome light have HDR associated? Yes, it does, and it's with an output. So let's see what's up over there. Okay, it's that studio thing that we are using. And output, I think I have made it a bit darker. Yeah, I'll close this guy as well temporarily. One thing that we can do is, and there is some color correction happening. What have I done here? Let's see. U shift, all that is at defaults. I don't think I've color corrected this a lot, but anyways, it's there should I need it. So without changing all of this, I'll just remember my horizontal rotation is at 180, and I'll temporarily select another HDRI. So max, scene assets, images, HDRI, Labambo, the one I always use. And can I see anything? Nope. Okay, I'll turn this enabled off and go to my shader and turn off my fall off map as well, and probably take a bigger area so I can see what's happening here. Go to my lights and turn off all these guys, right? So see how reflective this is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go and turn off my back wall as well. This is just to show you how the fall off map is working. Now if I turn it on, as you can see, this front became darker, right? And as it's going away from us, it's becoming more and more reflective. So if I add a clamp here, and just to exaggerate this effect, see what's happening now. Like it's 0 till this angle, and then when it's going away from us, slowly and steadily it's becoming more and more reflective. So if I go this way, more of the center becomes reflective, and that's how reflections work in real life. So if I make it really steep angles like over here, right? So I want it overall to be a little bit reflective, so you have to make sure like these two guys are almost on the same plane and Bezier smooth. And if you increase this fall off curve, you're starting to get something like that. And I think yeah, it's on. So let's see, if I go this way, it's becoming more. I can reduce this. Plastics are usually in sort of this range, but what I need to do is bring these guys down, and I just want them ever slightly to be reflective. Also, if I don't want this strong reflections, I can bring the edge down, and it's not giving a huge difference here. So, and this is actually mixing between the two colors, but what I want to do is I want to contrast these guys out, so I'll just put them back to where they were, and instead I'll come here and do enable color map, because this will give us more drastic differences, and in some cases it's a good thing. So do that. Is it smooth? Open that up, bring this guy on the same level, and bring overall this thing down. And now see if I start bringing this down, and it doesn't seem to be affecting as much. I guess maybe this angle is in some range over here. So let's stick to our mix curve itself. So take that and Bezier smooth, probably like that, and bring it down, and I think that should be enough. Just checking my HDRI, it's at 180, and I want to select my old HDR again because we had set our lighting according to this guy, right? And now if I turn on my lights, I've still got that sharpness. Now like I said, my bottle is not so sharp. I mean, it's a very matte surface minus the branding thing on here, down here, right? So maybe for branding, we can have one light just for the head cap, and we'll add in a light as soon as we are done with branding, right? So quickly going back to the shader, I'm probably gonna make it more reflective because I've got a very strong map in my glossiness. So see, keep an eye over here, right? I'll select this area, let it clear a bit, and see, as soon as I turn this on, that whole sharpness is gone. And I'll open this guy up as well, right down here. I'll go into composite and click on composite and create an output map. So I don't want it to be this matte, but I don't want it to be this sharp either. I want that highlight a bit visible there. So I'll keep my old map as a submap, say OK, enable color map, and if I just start lifting my blacks, which I seem okay, right? And let's make this surge area smaller, somewhere around. Okay. So it's not as sharp as this. It's a bit blurred, right? And if I do the whole thing, and wait for a few passes. Now remember, we have switched back to CPU, so it's a bit slower than the GPU renderer, but see, 121 passes, it's done. But see how nice this looks in comparison to what we had. So if I open this up and put this in A, right, look at this, guys. It feels a bit more matte, and it's, I mean, see this variations. I don't know if you can see on your screen, but there's a little bit of white, there's some blacks here, and all in all, the pattern is breaking a little bit, and maybe I'll go up and make it a bit reflective to make it obvious for a second there. So if I go to my reflection map and increase my reflections, see this variations here in reflections. This is why we went through the whole adding noise maps to it. Okay, so make it somewhere around there, and I don't want pure blacks, so just make it a tad bit reflective, around very ever so slightly. And on my this map, I want to make it more matte for sure, right? So I'm selecting this, and if I click on this button, it shows me the top show end result on the material, and you see how metallic and shiny this is right now, because I bought this up here, and you can tell that by the highlights. And even in this preview render, see how highlights is broken. So if I bring down a little bit, see there's nice textural details, right? And probably I'll make it around there. Okay, and I'll probably add a point and make things a bit more on the darker end, around like that, and then Bezier smooth it. Have this, and probably bring this up a bit, right, and a bit more, and take this guy like that, make it darker. By the way, we might have to change our lighting now again, basis of the updated shaders. I mean, but mostly it will be playing with the intensities rather than the position itself. So, let's see. I'll close this guy off, open that, turn on my back wall, and already you can see while it's rendering that this shader versus this, it's already feeling more nice and matte compared to this guy, and we have got that nice soft gradient happening on the side. What I'm not liking is this little bit of round. It's defining the form, but we might have to do something. We might have to pump in lights, get this grays in a bit, but then again, let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, we'll figure this out. Yeah. So I'll press A, and so this is our first material, and I clearly want to decrease the amount of reflectivity because it's become we need to go black like that, and we are still like sort of gray. So if I come here and if I put my output amount 2.5 maybe or 1.5 to RGB offset, RGB level 0.5. Yeah, if I reduce my RGB levels, it's starting to go a bit darker, and I might put it to 0.75, and it's just a shade darker because remember, as we start adding lights and more things, this image will only get brighter from the darks, so we have to compensate for that. Whew. Okay, so now what I'll do is let's stop this here and save this file as this is what lighting, so this will be version 2 take 1, save, and let's quickly come to this guy now, right, and I'm going to minimize that, and let's see which one is giving me better resolution. Actually, let me just copy Control A, Control C and paste it here. Control 0, Control C and Control V. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Why is this? Edit, copy, edit, paste. That's funny. It's not ready to paste it here. Let's close this. Nope. And I don't need that. Just one sec, guys. Oops. Just drop it on top of that guy. Um, okay, this guy seems to be a bit bigger, so we'll use 003 as our base, and copy this guy, and let's try to have this. Okay, edit, copy, take a new layer, Control V, and Control I, invert this. I'll put levels, and see, it's so dark, I'm not able to get almost any information out. Control I, let's see if I can pump up things in this side. Close that, put curves, and add that. So basically I just want to make this contrasted, and yeah, so this might give us, let's see which channel has the most contrast. So green color is giving us the best one, so Control A, Control C, select there, and create a new layer and paste. Okay, it didn't copy the thing. So okay, I'm using just one sec, guys. The thing is, I have this setup software called Synergy, and that allows me to use one keyboard and mouse between multiple systems, but maybe it's not configured properly or something, but it's not taking the whole shortcuts properly, so just switching keyboard and mouse there. So Control A, Control C, rather Control Shift C, which is edit, copy merged, right? And then click there, and I'll go edit, paste special, paste in place, and I've got this black and white map. Now I can add maybe another levels and try and get some contrast out of this, right? What I'm trying to create is a black and white mask, and let's see, that's changing the shape. Okay, let's do it old school way, because there is very less amount of this thing. I'll just add curves and make it a bit more visible for me, right? And to make things easy, I'm gonna rotate this guy by holding shift. It kind of snaps in this space, right? I'll take my pen tool, zoom in, and start copying, trying to make the same fonts. Here it doesn't look so smooth, so I wish I had, actually, there might be color police. Let's see. Reset this guy and write down color police. Yep. Images, color police logo. Oh, that's a nice image by themselves. And let's see, do we have that color polish, nail polish? Oh, come on, give me a logo, man. Give me this logo. What company is making this? Let's see. TS Nail NML. What is TS Nail Polish logo? Okay. I'll go to all and TS Nail Polish. I'm seeing if I can find web page of this Nika. Okay. What is this Nika? Is it an online store? Yeah. I want the company who's making this. Flipkart, Crazy Nails. Do they have a web page on this? Futureconsumer.in. Okay. Interesting. So I think this is just a local company, but FUTURE consumer. Let's see. In. Okay. And brands. Oh, they've got quite a few brands. TS. And let's see, do you have your logo somewhere? I want this color police logo if I can. Okay, media press release, FCL in the news, Media Connect. Let's see, do you have something future conservative Amazon and NH come down Amazon tie up? Do you have press release kit? Prepare authentic dishes in the news, media contact, futuregroup.in. Nope. Let's see this. Nail enamel. Okay, I've got 2 viewers, and who that might be. Let's see. Okay, I don't know. If anyone knows this font, just tell me. It will be so much easier than trying to replicate this thing, because making something like that is a pain. Usually you get that from clients, the logos and whatever you need to make. Okay, you know what? Oops. I'll just zoom out and let's try text and see if I have caps lock COLOR, and let's see if I can find a similar. I'll just delete that path. It's not up to the mark. So and select this guy. Sorry, it's over here on my third monitor, so make it black and select the top one and start going down. Oops. What I'm looking for is some similar font which is like slim and straight like this, at least in the similar range. So this sort of works. It's not exactly the same. I can see this is a custom font made in Photoshop by deleting parts of it probably, but RFIKit element, let's see. So when you don't know stuff, this is how it goes. Or take a pen and trace that thing off. Actually, because that color, the texture is not so visible, maybe I can just use mask the things out, right, and use that mask as a that might be an option. But let's quickly see if I can find a similar font in with what I have. I doubt it if I'll have something. Yeah, screw this. Let's just I'll give it one more try with pen tool, right? So P, I'll actually zoom in as much as I can, and yeah, so I'm just gonna make huge sweeps. See, this is the moral, this is the dilemma, right? I cannot make out the exact font due to all this green. It's a bit difficult. So maybe it goes like this, then goes in this direction and something like that, and then it comes all the way here, then have a straight, so here, and take this guy like that, and come here, go there, and somewhere around here I think, right? And I'm gonna close this guy off and take this guy, click here, and just adjust this guy's a little bit. So, and this dude can come there, maybe like that, and over here it needs to be straight, and down here it can probably be like this, like this. Bring this in a bit. I don't think that's how someone would design a font. This certainly became just harder than I thought, didn't it? But it's okay, we'll get through it, we'll survive. And do that, bring this guy in a little bit, and I can just imagine the horror of the designer who would have designed this font for this company, and they'll be like, oh, you're butchering my fonts, use this font. But I don't have it. Maybe if they contact me, or actually I'll have to contact them and see if they give me the info, right? And I don't know, roughly there. Okay, so go to paths, create a new one. Yeah, now see, oh, okay, so where's my pen tool? Right here. Oops. Go here, make, go to here, make a little around here. Here, close that. this guy, probably bring that, and this guy has become too fat, so something like that. Not bad. So I'll rename this to C O. Then L seems to be quite simple. So pen tool seems like straight lines. So maybe let's add a little bit of rounding there, right? And then shift, there, close. Oh, okay. I was on O layer, so I need to create a new one. Sorry guys. That. There. What's the shortcut for this guy? A. Okay. And get it there. Bring this guy in, and on the level, same here. And I'm using my arrow keys right now to move this guy left and right. So and get this guy one over here. So I'll call that my L. The O can be a repeat, so I don't need to make that again. I'll name this L. L, and create another path for R. So since I just had Nikhil and Hugo come in today, and they were there for a while, it's 8 p.m. I'm gonna call it a day for today, but you don't want me to see and make paths for the whole color police. I might start streaming on, for coming week only, I might stream every day or alternate days. Let's see, I'll put it on the usual platforms, which is Facebook, my Facebook page for CG Rockstar, Twitter and all, and I'll get this prepped and get it ready for you guys. So what next thing we'll do is we'll get that color police black and white alpha map down here and use another much more sharper material, so we get a nice highlight like the reference photos. Yeah, so yeah, let's call it a day today, because there are not a lot of people, and it's been we have gone through 2 hours, and maybe I can do the poll thing next week. So I'll just save this file as and put it in my work folder. So beauty product, work, Photoshop. I don't need PSB. PSB is fine for this one. Color police. Let's go selection mask. Okay. So thank you Nikhil and Hugo for being there for a while, and I think it shows in users at least Commander Root, Lurks, LURXX, and Nikhil. So thank you guys for being here. For Commander Root and Lurks, you can always join the chat. This is, anyways, I need to ask someone on Steam as well, that how come users in chat shows a different figure than the amount of viewers. So yeah, let's see. Okay guys, thank you for your time, and yeah, next week, coming week, starting uh, Monday, which is on 6th April. So between 6th and 11th April, I'll try and aim to finish this off. Maybe do everyday streams or alternate streams, because I think I need to create something much more cooler. So all the senior or mid-level artists which are there on these social media platforms, they might be more interested to come in and watch the streams, um, because if not a lot of people are going to be here, then I might as well just record these tutorials and put it up on Facebook. The idea was like, if someone wants to ask me live questions and see the mistakes I make and how I fix them, instead of click this button, click this button. I just wanted to guys to have an insight into how things work and how to problem solve as well. So yeah, once again, thank you for coming in, and I'll probably see you on Monday or Tuesday. Bye.